Hello, my dear students. A very warm welcome to all of you in Shri Jaindra Rank Zone. I am your friend and mentor for the subject Business Economics. In this lecture, we'll continue with Chapter 4, that is Price Determination in Different Markets. And in particular, we'll continue with Unit 1, that is Meaning and Types of Markets. All the concepts will be covered in the coming series of lectures. This is Lecture 2 for Unit 1. The first topic that we are going to discuss today is the relationship between average revenue, marginal revenue, total revenue, and price elasticity of demand. Let us see this. It is to be noted over here that marginal revenue, average revenue, and price elasticity of demand are uniquely related to one another through this formula. You have to remember this formula. MR equal to AR multiplied by E minus 1 divided by E, where E equal to price elasticity of demand. Thus, if elasticity of demand is equal to 1, that means what? AR equal to MR multiplied by 1 minus 1 divided by 1 equal to 0. If elasticity of demand is greater than 1, MR will be positive, and if elasticity of demand is lower than 1, that means what? MR will be negative in this case. I hope you understood. Let us resume. See the text over here. In a straight line, forward falling demand curve, we know that the coefficient of price elasticity at the middle is equal to 1. It follows that the marginal revenue corresponding to the middle point of the demand curve or AR curve will be 0. As we just seen over here, AR equal to MR equal to 0. On the upper portion of the demand curve where elasticity is more than 1, marginal revenue will be positive, and on the lower portion of the demand curve where the elasticity is less than 1, marginal revenue will be negative. Just see this diagram to understand this relationship. See this diagram. So this is x-axis origin, y-axis. This is marginal revenue curve and this is average revenue curve. Average revenue curve is flatter. AR curve is flatter. And you can see MR curve is steeper. Where TR, total revenue, is maximum, marginal revenue is 0. Students, you can see it over here where the marginal revenue is negative. Over here the marginal revenue is negative, elasticity is less than 1. When marginal revenue is 0, over here elasticity is equal to 1. Over here you can see it equal to 1. Here in case of 0 it is less than 1, and where it is positive the elasticity is more than 1. The elasticity is more than 1 over here. So this is basically the relationship between AR, MR and TR. Let's read the text. In figure 4 over here, DD is the AR or demand curve. At point C, elasticity is equal to 1. At point C over here, elasticity is equal to 1. We just had seen this. Over here in the lower segment, it is less than 1. In the upper segment, it is more than 1. In the lower segment, it is less than 1. And in the upper segment, it is more than 1. Upper segment, it is more than 1, greater than 1. Corresponding to C curve on AR, the marginal revenue is 0. Thus, MR curve is touching x-axis at N corresponding to C on the AR at a greater quantity, that is ON. The elasticity of AR curve is less than 1 and marginal revenue is negative. So if marginal revenue is negative, elasticity is less than 1. Negative marginal revenue means over here MR curve goes below the x-axis to the fourth quadrant. Marginal revenue being negative means over here the total revenue will diminish if the quantity greater than ON is sold. The total revenue will be rising up to ON output, and since up to this marginal revenue remains positive, it follows that total revenue will be maximum where elasticity is equal to 1. Thus we can say that total revenue is shown to be the highest level at O1 level of output corresponding to the point C on AR curve. Beyond ON level of output, the TR curve has a negative slope. Just write its relationship. Marginal revenue MR, average revenue AR, and price elasticity of demand. E are related to one another through this formula. MR equals AR multiplied by E minus 1 divided by 1. So this principle is applicable. What is that principle? If elasticity of demand is less than 1, MR will be negative. MR will be negative, and so this will lie on the lower segment of AR, that is what? Demand curve. Let us continue. If E equal to 1, that is elasticity of demand is equal to 1, that means what? PMR equal to 0. This will be the midpoint. This will be the midpoint of the straight line AR curve at the midpoint of straight line demand curve. We can say that demand curve, we can say that E equal to 1. If elasticity of demand is greater than 1, this implies that MR will be positive. MR will be positive. This means what? This will lie on the upper segment, of the AR, that is average revenue, which is also known as demand curve. Just write over here about TR and MR. If TR increases, MR will be positive. When TR is maximum, marginal revenue equal to 0. If total revenue decreases, marginal revenue will be negative. Next is marginal revenue and average revenue. Write the relationship. Marginal revenue and average revenue both decline, but marginal revenue falls rapidly than average revenues, that is steeper. Second, average revenue curve is flatter than marginal revenue curve. Marginal revenue curve is steeper. Then write marginal revenue curve can be 0 and even negative. Can be 0 or even negative, while average revenue will never cross below than x-axis. I believe you understood till here. Let's continue with our next topic, and that is behavioral principles. We need to see principle 1 over here. It is a matter of common sense that a firm should produce only if it will do better by producing than not producing. This means what? If the firm is doing production and making profit, the firm should produce. If the firm is producing and making losses, the firm should not produce. The firm always has the option of not producing at all. So if the firm is in profit, if it is in a benefit, the firm is able to cover up its variable cost of production. In that case, the production should happen. If the firm is not able to cover up its variable cost of production, in that case, the production is not making any sense. The extra production will give an extra loss to the firm. If a firm total revenues are not enough to make good even a total variable cost, it is better to shut down. In other words, a competitive firm should shut down if the price is below average variable cost. In that case, it will minimize the loss of the firm because the total cost will be equal to its fixed cost. The total cost will be equal to its fixed cost. But if I am doing extra production, that means some variable cost is also adding over here. My total cost will increase and I will make up ending losses. And it will have to operate with losses equal to its fixed cost. The sunk fixed cost is irrelevant to the shutdown decision because fixed costs are already incurred. If you shut down or if you don't shut down, you will not have the benefit of fixed cost. But if you shut down, you will definitely have a benefit of variable cost. Because if you shut down, you will not make variable cost. If you shut down, you still have made the fixed cost. So fixed cost is a sunk cost. This means that the minimum average variable cost is equal to the shutdown cost, that is the shutdown price, the price at which the firm ceases to do the production in the short run. shutting down is temporary and does not mean that the business is going out of business. Does not mean we are going out of business. For temporary reasons, for temporary time, meanwhile we are doing shutdown because maybe the demand is not there in the market, we are not able to cover up our variable cost of production, and that is why we are shutting it down. Let us move ahead. If price, that is the average revenue, is greater than minimum average variable cost but less than the average total cost, the firm covers its variable cost and some but not all the fixed cost. So firm over here is able to cover up some variable cost, but the firm is not able to cover up the fixed cost. But my dear students, you understand fixed cost is a sunk cost. If price is equal to average total cost, that is the minimum average total cost, the firm cover both fixed cost as well as variable cost and earns which profit? Normal profit, or we can say that zero economic profit. So zero economic profit is known as normal profit in economics. That is a break even point. That is a no profit no loss situation, and that is the situation where it is known as it is a normal profit or zero economic profit. If price is greater than ATC, the firm will only cover its full cost but also earns positive economic profit, or we can say that supernormal profit. If price is greater than average total cost, that means what? The price is greater than average total cost, that is revenue is more than cost. In that case, the firm will be able to cover up its cost and even the firm will make some economic positive profit, that is the economic profit, and that is the another name of economic profit is supernormal profit. Supernormal profit. Let us continue. Let's see this principle 2. Principle 2. The firm will be making maximum profits by expanding the output to the level where marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. MR equal to MC. In other words, we can say that it will pay the firm to go on producing additional units of output so long as the marginal revenue exceeds marginal cost. That is, additional unit add more to revenues than to cost. At this point, equality between marginal revenue and marginal cost, it will earn maximum profits. Let us continue. The above principle can be better understood with the help of this figure which is shown down, which shows that a set of hypothetical marginal revenues and marginal cost curves are shown over here, MR equal to MC. Marginal revenue curves slope downwards and marginal cost curves slope upwards. My dear students, just see it over here. This is the marginal cost curve which is sloping upward, and this is the marginal revenue curve. This is not a total revenue curve. This is a marginal revenue curve. It is going down, slopes downward. They intersect each other at point E. This point over here, MR equal to MC, and MC should be rising. So see, the MC is rising and MR equal to MC, which corresponds to output Q over here, output Q star. Up to Q star, the level of output, marginal revenue is greater than the marginal cost. My dear students, just see it over here. Over here, marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost. So over here, marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost, but beyond this point, cost is greater than marginal revenue, so we should not do the production. So up to point Q star level of output, marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost, and at this output level, that is star Q, they are equal. Over here, just see it over here. The firm will be maximizing the profit at point E because over here MR equal to MC. For all the levels of output less than Q star, additional unit of output and more adds more to revenue than less to cost. That means cost is less, revenue is more. The firm is a supernormal profit situation as the marginal revenue is more than marginal cost, and thus it will be profitable for the firm to produce them. The firm will be foregoing profit equal to the area of EFG if the slope of A. Similarly, we can say that profit will fall if a greater output than OQ is produced, as they will add more to the cost to revenues. On the units from Qth to Bth, over here, if we move ahead, we need to incur what? We need to incur losses. The firm will be incurring losses equal to EHI. EHI. This is what? Loss. I hope you understood. To conclude, the firm will maximize profit at a point at which marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. Over here, it would be maximum profit. Before this point, from point A to Q, before this point, we have a supernormal profit, and after that we have a loss. I believe it is crystal clear to all of you. Let us continue. Let's see how profit and loss are calculated on the equilibrium point. Just write over here profit or loss at the equilibrium point. At the equilibrium point, first equilibrium position, equilibrium position, that is MR equal to MC, marginal revenue equal to marginal cost. Second, just write merely being a equilibrium position does not mean that the firm is making profits. The firm is making profits. The actual position, the actual position of profits can be known only can be known only on the basis of average revenue, and we also need to see average cost curves. Third point, in the calculation of cost, a normal percentage of profits, a normal percentage of profits for the entrepreneurial service, for the entrepreneurial service are included in computation of cost of production, in computation of cost of production, that is average cost, as we can say it as economic cost, economic cost. So the rules for interpretation of profit oblique loss are as under. Just write this, are add under. If average revenue is greater than average cost, In that case, the firm makes supernormal profits. Supernormal profits. That is over and above, over and above normal profits. Over and above normal profits. If average revenue is equal to average cost, that means what? That means what? The firm makes normal profits. The firm makes normal profits. Since average cost AC includes normal profits. Normal profit. Students, don't confuse yourself over here, because average in economics, average revenue equal to average cost, and this is a situation. This situation is known as normal profit situation, where average revenue is equals to average cost. Continue. If average revenue is less than average cost, in that case, the firm makes losses. The firm makes losses, but it need not shut down. This is not a shutdown situation in the short run. The firm need not shut down in the short run. Just write a note over here. Just write a note over here. Here, loss means economic loss, and not loss as per books of accounts. Books of accounts. Next, if average revenue is less than average variable cost, if average revenue is less than average variable cost, the firm is not able to recover, the firm is not able to recover its variable cost. The firm is not able to recover its variable costs, so the firm has to shut down. It has to shut down. There are four situations discussed over here. In the first situation, if average revenue is greater than average cost, that means the average revenue is greater, the firm is making supernormal profit, the firm is making abnormal profit, the firm needs to continue doing the production. If average revenue is equals to average cost, over here the cost and revenue is same, that means the firm is making normal profits, normal return, still the firm needs to continue operating. In situation 3, if average revenue is lesser than average cost, or we can say that average cost is greater than average revenue, over here the firm makes losses, but it need not shut down as in the short run. Over here this losses is only the economic losses and not loss as per the books of accounts, because the fixed cost is already a sunk cost, so we should not take that cost into consideration over here. In the fourth case, if average revenue is less than average variable cost, the firm is not able to recover its variable cost also. The firm is not in a situation to recover its variable cost also. in that case we can say that the firm needs to shut down. The firm is not able to recover its variable cost, so it has to shut down. It is clear till here? Let us continue. The next point is shutdown point. Shutdown point. Shutdown point. Kindly write, if revenue is greater than cost, the firm will earn profits. The firm will earn profits. Point number two, a firm should not produce the product at all if total revenue from its product does not equal or exceed its total variable cost. Total variable cost. Hence, the condition for production is the condition for production is total revenue should be greater than total variable cost. Next. Next. The firm has the option of not producing anything. Not producing anything. If it does not produce the product, it will have an operating loss equals to its fixed cost only. Its fixed cost only. Situation 4. A firm should produce only if it will do better by producing than by not producing. Hence, we can say that total revenue should be greater than total variable cost. Otherwise, it will increase the loss. It will increase the loss of the firm. it will increase the loss of the firm. So the shutdown point the shutdown point of the firm will be the situation when average revenue is less than average variable cost. Average revenue is less than average variable cost. This was shutdown point. The last concept is equilibrium point of the firm. Equilibrium point of the firm. X-axis, origin, y-axis. Over here we are showing cost and revenue. Over here we are showing output. This is the AR curve, average revenue curve, and over here this is the MR curve. This is the MR curve. This is the marginal cost curve. This is the marginal cost curve. Over here, this is the point where MR equal to MC, that is marginal revenue equal to marginal cost, and MC cuts the MR curve from below. And this is the situation of equilibrium, or you can say that MC should be rising, or you can say that MC should be rising. Either way, just write the first point. We can say over here it will be profitable for the firm to expand its output till the time MR equal to MC, marginal revenue equal to marginal cost. It will be profitable for the firm to expand its output whenever marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost, and to keep on increasing output until MR equal to MC. MR equal to MC. Another point you can write, if any unit of production adds more to revenue than to cost, production and sale of that unit will increase the profit, increase the profits. Similarly, if it adds more to cost, more to cost than to reserve, then to reserve, it will decrease the profit. It will decrease the profit. Third point, just write profit will be maximum. Profit will be maximum at the point where additional revenue that is marginal revenue from a unit equals its additional cost, that is marginal cost. So we can say that MC equal to MR. MC equal to MR. Further, MC curve should cut the MR curve from below. MC equal to MR and MR cuts and MC cuts MR from below is called equilibrium position. This is MC. I hope you understood till here. So basically, merely being in equilibrium position does not mean that the firm is making profits. The actual position of the firm can only be known once it could be AR and AC curves. So merely this is not the equilibrium position. Basically, the actual position of the equilibrium firm will be known by AR and AC curve. But still, equilibrium point of the firm is the point where MR equal to MC and MC cuts the MR curve from below. The explanation of AR and AC curve is given over here, that is in shutdown point, and over here also we have written profits or losses at equilibrium point. The relationship between AR and AC curve. Students will keep this class till here only. We'll continue in the next class now. Thank you.